Welcome to Mystery Chronicles, where we dive deep into some of the most intriguing and mysterious stories from around the world. Please like, comment, and subscribe. On the day before Thanksgiving in 1971, the world felt ordinary. It was a Wednesday, November 24th, at the Portland International Airport in Oregon. People rushed to their flights. They thought of family and holiday meals. Among them was a man, quiet and unassuming. He walked to the Northwest Orient Airlines counter and paid in cash for a one-way ticket. The man gave his name as Dan Cooper. He wore a dark business suit, a crisp white shirt, a simple black necktie, and carried a black attaché case. His destination was Seattle, Washington, a short flight to the north. The ticket cost $20. In those days, air travel was simpler. You could walk up, pay, and board without showing identification. He boarded Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305, a Boeing 727, a workhorse of the sky. About 36 passengers were on board. Cooper found seat 18C in the rear and appeared at ease. The engines whined to life. The jet taxied and lifted into the gray Oregon sky at 2:50 p.m. as Portland shrank below. He ordered a bourbon and soda, lit a cigarette, and blended in with the routine flight. Shortly after takeoff, as the plane climbed toward cruising altitude, the man called for the flight attendant. He handed Florence Schaffner a folded piece of paper. Thinking it a phone number, she slipped it into her pocket. He spoke quietly but firmly. "Miss, you better look at that note. I have a bomb." The words were printed neatly in capital letters. The message was terrifying. He opened the briefcase just enough. A mass of wires, 2 rows of 4 red cylinders, and a large battery. The hijacker asked her to sit beside him. Calm, controlled. That control made it more chilling. He stated his demands. $200,000 in negotiable American currency, 4 parachutes, 2 main chutes, and 2 reserves. Schaffner went to the cockpit to inform Captain William Scott. Scott relayed the demands. Donald Nyrop authorized payment. The FBI scrambled. Back in the cabin, passengers remained unaware. A short hop had become a hostage situation, orchestrated by the quiet man in the back. As the sun began to set, Flight 305 circled Puget Sound. He ordered them to remain aloft until his demands were met. For nearly 2 hours, they flew in circles. A plausible story kept the cabin calm. Below, a frantic effort, agents gathered $200,000 in 20s. Every bill was photographed to record its serial number. Parachutes were secured. 4 chutes puzzled investigators, perhaps to prevent sabotage. At 5:39 p.m., the jet landed and parked far from the terminal. He demanded all shades be closed to foil snipers. Cash and chutes were passed to Tina Moklo through the rear air stair. He kept his word. All 36 passengers and Schaffner were released. Refueling began. The quiet man was now richer, but not finished. With the ransom and parachute secured, the hijacker outlined the next phase. Destination, Mexico City, but with very specific instructions. Low altitude, no higher than 10,000 feet. Slow, around 100 knots. Flaps at 15 degrees, gear down. At about 7:40 p.m., 5 people remained. The hijacker, Captain Scott, First Officer Bob Radajak, Flight Engineer H.E. Anderson, and Attendant Tina Mu-HK Lowe. He instructed Mu-HK Lowe to stay in the cockpit. He wanted the cabin alone. He secured the money and began preparing for his escape. A storm rolled over the Pacific Northwest. Outside, pitch black, heavy clouds, intermittent rain, strong winds, sub-freezing cold. They tracked south toward Reno over vast, rugged wilderness. Not ideal for a skydive. Was he an expert or a fool courting disaster? He had picked a jet with a secret weapon, the aft air stair. He ordered the stairs lowered. A warning light illuminated. The rear door was open. Dan Cooper stood at the edge of the abyss, ready to make his exit. Sometime after 8 p.m., something changed. The crew noticed a sudden upward motion in the tail and a pressure change, as if a body had left the aircraft. No one saw him go, no final words, no farewell. He stepped out of the back of a Boeing 727 into freezing, windswept darkness, 21 pounds of cash strapped to him. The flight continued, the aft stairs still down, cold air blasting the empty cabin. They landed at Reno Tahoe around 10:15 p.m. FBI and police boarded cautiously, but there was no one there. The hijacker was gone. They found his black necktie, a pack of Raleigh cigarettes, and 2 of the 4 parachutes. The crew was safe, the plane secure. But the man had vanished. He hijacked a jet, extorted a ransom, and jumped without a trace. The morning after, the FBI launched Norjack, one of the most extensive manhunts in U.S. history. Flight path, weather, and wind suggested a wide swath in southwestern Washington state. Dense forests, steep mountains, rushing rivers, hostile terrain. Hundreds combed the ground with helicopters scanned from above. Dogs tracked the woods. They scoured forests, fields, and riverbanks. For a parachute, a body, the money, any sign. Days turned into weeks. Nothing. Agents interviewed crew and passengers and produced a composite sketch. Dark hair, dark eyes, determined expression. They released serial numbers asking banks, businesses, and the public to watch for those 20s. Despite massive effort, the initial search failed. Many believed he died jumping at night into a storm over heavy forest wearing only a business suit. With winter setting in, the ground search was suspended. Without a body, there was no proof. The forest kept its secrets. Section 7, A Clue from the River. In February 1980, 8-year-old Brian Ingram uncovered 3 rotting bundles of cash at Tina Bar. The serial numbers matched the ransom, $5,800, still the only recovered portion. The site lay miles from the initial search, but within the watershed. Experts suggested the money likely washed down the Washougal into the Columbia. Intact rubber bands implied it hadn't traveled far in water. Did Cooper bury it and lose the rest? Or did it wash free after he died? It was a solid clue, alone, stubborn, and small in a vast mystery. A hint that raised more questions than answers. Over the decades, the FBI examined more than 1,000 suspects as the public spun countless theories. The quiet man could have been anyone, a disgruntled veteran, an experienced paratrooper, or an ordinary man pushed to desperation. Richard McCoy Jr. copied a similar hijacking in 1972, but the FBI ruled him out. Dwayne Weber confessed to his wife, "I am Dan Cooper." His past fit parts of the puzzle. DNA was not a mismatch, but inconclusive. Other candidates surfaced, each with intriguing coincidences, but no smoking gun. D.B. Cooper remains a phantom, a composite with 1,000 possible faces. He remains, the great unknown. Mystery endured, proof did not. For 45 years, the Cooper case remained active. 60 volumes, thousands of leads, countless hours. They analyzed the tie and developed a partial DNA profile. In July 2016, the FBI closed the active investigation to focus on current threats. They preserved the evidence, ready to reopen if new physical proof appeared. A quiet end to a historic manhunt. The file closed, but the Legends book remained wide open, its final chapter unwritten. That was that official turning point. More than half a century on, the tale has become American folklore, audacity, mystery, escape. His crime reshaped aviation security and even the 727's design with a Cooper vein. Did he survive? Where did he land? Most of the money was never found. The story has no ending, and so the legend continues. Thank you for watching Mystery Chronicles. Please like, comment, and subscribe.